Hi everyone. So welcome to day 4 of S-Ilp program, where the major focus is on the live mentorship with daily targets, where we are majorly focusing on the consistency factor, accountability, and the application of touch. So coming to day 4, we are dealing with article 19 to 24. Yesterday we dealt with article 12 to 18. So let's see what are the important things that you should be reading on this particular day. Coming to article 19, wherein this is basically known as right to freedom, and this forms a very important article because this is very much linked to the current affairs part of it. From it talks about right to freedom of speech, assembly, then association, like moving freely across the country, whether you can reside in a particular state or not, or if you at all you want to start a profession, what kind of profession can you start. So all these are dealt in article 19 here. So here, when it comes to current affairs, you would have read about banning of movies, like change of the name of the movies, like Padmavat. There was an issue on that, or any books or any literary works being banned, or painting being banned, or when M.F. Hussain was exiled from the country. So there are many things like this, which forms a part of this. Even hate speeches, all that becomes here. Or even when it comes to COVID aspect of it, right to movement was restricted, and the government derives the rights from here because there are certain restrictions. Though their freedom is there, but these are the exceptional cases. Like even in northeast region, we have this inner line permit area, wherein you need to have that permission to enter the tribal areas there. Or even this talks about right to strike. I mean, right to strike, yeah, it is allowed, but it should be a peaceful one. So when it comes to, so this is different from the band. So these are the things that you will be looking into, and these are the things that you should be focusing on. And even when it comes to profession as well, so what kind of profession you can carry, you have all the rights to start up anything on your own. At also, but that there are exceptional cases where the profession is immoral, or it is dangerous as such. So such things are prohibited, like it can be related to narcotics, or probably, I mean, the drugs thing or the prostitution. So these are the things that are actually prohibited under the right to freedom of speech, right to any profession for that matter. Then the next article that we'll be dealing would be article 20, which talks about conviction for offenses. So here, in conviction of offenses, the major focus should be on, like, this is more to do with, because there is one more article by article 22. When we go to that article 22, it is more to do with protection against arrest and detention. So that these two you might get slightly confused, but here this is more to do with once a person is convicted. So what, like, say whether any, this is to protect the individual from any kind of arbitrary or excessive punishment. So and also, like, whether the person who's been convicted, can he be a witness against himself. So that is called as no self incrimination. So, or even he has the right, whether he has right to remain silent. Also here, there is also a term known as double jeopardy, wherein whether you be punished for the same offense twice. So all these things will be covering in conviction for offenses. Then going to article 21, the next one is article 21, where it is where you would have to read about protection of life and personal liberty. So this forms a very important article. Article 21 is, sometimes it is also known as the soul of the constitution. It is so important because this covers every aspect of your life, from all the way from right to livelihood, right to lead your life with the dignity. So when you say right to lead your life with dignity, so everything, all the way from shelter, your what do you say, the clothing part, or right to livelihood, everything gets covered here. And when you look at, and also the other aspect that you should be looking when you're reading about the articles is the cases, which forms a very important thing here, because you can see how from Gopalan case to Menaka Gandhi case, right, to right to privacy, right, how things have evolved here. So in Gopalan case, there was a very narrow interpretation of it, but later in Menaka Gandhi case, the personal liberty concept was gave a wider, the Supreme Court gave a wider interpretation to this, because earlier it was only restricted to the the executive powers, but later even the legislative powers, nobody can be, even with the law, nobody can be held or detained as such. So that is how the wider connotation is given during in the Menaka Gandhi case, and with the recent current affairs wherein you can talk about right to privacy, that is case Puttaswamy case, or even the recent other case was Supriyo Chakravarti, was the case where it deals about right to marry. So all this are the forms the important cases under Article 21, and this holds a very important thing along with Article 14, 19, 21, and Article 25 to 28. Right, these are the very important articles, and most of the times these are in news. So keep a tab on it. And next, going to the Article 21A. So 21A, it's more to do with right to education. So even in fact a law also was formulated, free and compulsory education act came into being in 2009, and this particular act, Article 21A was added by Article 86 Constitutional Amendment Act 2002, where the major objective of this act was education for all. So please remember this article and the cases as such. And even before this was introduced in as a part of fundamental right, we can see the presence of right to education also under Article 45 as part of DPSP, that is Directive Principles of State Policy. And then apart from this, then we go to Article 22. So this basically deals with protection against arrest and detention. So again, this is in news very often. So in this, there are two types of kinds of detention that you can see. One is punitive, the other one is preventive. Right. So basically, this is punitive is more to do with after the trial and conviction happens, right? So then this falls under the first part of this Article 22, that is punitive kind of detention. The preventive detention is there is no trial, so this is without trial and conviction. So there is no trial, no conviction, but still they arrest a person because there's some danger that person might cause. So usually this happens during the terrorist activities as such, right? And many cases like UPA, that is a Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Right. So I think the recent one, a couple of years back, where in JNU case, the person was detained accordingly. So all these things come under the preventive part of it. So basically, when a person gets arrested or detained, especially in the first part, then they have to give the ground on which the person is arrested. The family should be informed. The person who is arrested also will have the right to consult a lawyer. Then he has to be produced before the magistrate in 24 hours. See, all this is not applicable when it comes to preventive detention. So these are the major things that you need to keep an eye on, right? So then next we'll go to Article 23. This is more to do with right against exploitation. So the previous articles that we saw, it was more to do with right to freedom, and this is more to do with right against exploitation, that is Article 23 and Article 24. So the first part of right to exploitation, it is more to do with prohibition of trafficking in human beings and forced labor. So basically, it is more to do with the selling and buying of human beings. So prostitution, Devdasi system, the slavery, right, system of Begar. So all this are banned in India as per the constitution. So from this, the legislative has, the legislation has come up with its law like Minimum Wages Act, right, or Equal Remuneration Act. So all this is done to prevent, any kind of exploitation on the human beings or the labor class who are actually working there, all that. Then here, but at times, but also there are exceptional cases. As I said, every right as an exception, wherein when it comes to a matter of military or social service, the state will have the power to impose compulsory service without any pay, right? So this is the thing with 23. And then finally with article 24, it is more to do with child labor, that is prohibition of employment of children in factories. So in this, basically anybody who is less than 14 years cannot be employed in any kind of labor, and especially when it comes to mining and hazardous activities, so it's complete no. So again the parliament has come up with its own law deriving its power from this particular provision, or wherein the child labor prohibition and regulation act 1986. Also we have a commission for protection of child rights act 2005 as well. So you should always see what are the provisions given in the constitution, what is the major objective of it, and the third point is what is the law or any committee or any organization institutional support with this regard. So these are the 3 pointers on which you should study the entire articles, right? And most importantly, this has a lot of relevance to current affairs, so always keep a tab on this whenever you're reading not only this subject, any subject for that matter. Keep a tab on what is happening in and around you, and how you can connect the present, I mean the constitution, with the present happenings, or how you can connect the concepts that you're reading with the present happenings, right? I hope you're clear with what you have to do for day 4, that is article all the way from article 19 to 24, on what lines you need to study today. So keep these things in mind, and wish you all the best. Prepare effectively and efficiently, and let's get in touch in the evening. Let's take a couple of questions and we'll discuss on that. Thank you.